Yeah, greetings and salutations, everybody. I am Omar Ryan, also go by the name Melanin, as everyone knows. And it's been a while since I made a video uh, on this channel, a few months now to be exact. And I want to apologize to my audience, my folks, my friends, everyone tuning in. And it's with good reason that I never had a video for the past few weeks. And I'm giving you a video today, of course. But first, I just want to let you know that um, last 2 months, I lost my dad brutally. He was murdered in LA. He wasn't the target, let me say. Um, he was 74 and he was at a regular spot where we hung out with friends playing dominoes. He wasn't playing dominoes at the time, but he was standing and talking to someone who is said to be the target, and someone came there to, you know, shoot that person. I end up that it was my dad that got shot and died, and it has really been a very bitter and sad moment for me and my family, particularly my siblings, and you know, it's rough, and we're still going through it. So that's the reason why I never had a video. I just want to share that with you. And I just want to say give thanks for the persons out there who would have showed sympathy and given support through messages, whatever way you would have supported, you know, and helped us throughout our bereavement. I just want to express my sincere thank you to you all. And yeah, on to the video for today. I just want to big up my friend, Miss Chambers. You know, I'm talking. You're the one who prompted this video for this week. As you can see, I not even have a mic today, but I decided that I came into work early, have some time, and I just want to do a video for you all. And today, as I said, the channel is Black is Amazing. And the video for today is why do we study Black history? What is the importance of Black history? Because as a man, since I was a boy, really, I've been interested in history, and people always ask, why you study history? Why does the importance of this? You know? And so I just want to lay down something today to the public of why we study Black history. When I say me, I'm talking about me and my associates, my teachers, people like the great Professor Vereen Shepherd, and the great Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, people who are possibly two biggest historians in the Caribbean, and I work with the two of them. Where I work now, Professor Shepard is my director, and Vice Chancellor Beckles is the boss, of the university. So, indirectly, I work with the Vice Chancellor. Anyway, why do we study Black history? The importance of Black history. Um, One, first of all, I will share with you three reasons today why we study Black history and why it's important for you to start studying Black history if you're not studying Black history, people, because it's important to know thyself. And the first thing we want to highlight is that Black history helps us to recognize the importance of African people to world affairs, to civilization, to history, because growing up in a society like Jamaica, a former colonial society, because Jamaica was colonized by the Spanish and the British, and we only gained independence in 1962. In a country like this, laws and the overall society were created for the benefit of the colonial masters, the slave masters, the owners of property, who were white men and their kin, primarily white men. I want to lay that down clear. And even though we had independence, the overall culture for a while in this country is that black no good, and a lot of us feel like our history started on the plantations. No, That's not it. Black people, African people, and I want to say African people, but we use the term black broadly because a lot of people think that if you aren't born in Africa, you're not an African. But Africa is our race. That's the reason why in America they call the people them African Americans, because African is their race, just like us. Where I'm an African Jamaican, you know. In the continent you have African Nigerians, but I know people just are like Nigerians, people just are like Jamaicans, but you know, broadly speaking, we're Africans. That's our race, you know. Anyway, the study of black history helps us to understand black history and the contributions of great people, our women, you know, to world history and world affairs, to politics, to science, to literature. You know, we've had great authors, people like Chinua Achebe from Nigeria, people like V.S. Naipaul, people in the Caribbean here. We've had, and these are people of won world acclaim for their literature. And we've had great people across the world, black people in literature. In politics, we've had the great His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie, the only leader who had the chance to address both the League of Nations and the United Nations. The League of Nations is the organization that preceded the United Nations before World War II. And after World War II, you know, United Nations came into being to create a new world, so to speak. And in inventions, in science, you know, we've had people long before in entrepreneurship and business. The richest man in the history of the world up to this day is Mansa Musa from ancient Mali, modern day Senegal, where the footballer Sadio Mane is from. You know, people like Akon, you know, it was a black man, was the richest man in the history of the world. And Mansa Musa, I think a lot of us would have heard the name even in pop culture, music, etc. So it's important for us to understand the contribution of our leaders, people like Marcus Garvey, people like Kwame Nkrumah, Malcolm X, you know, and this is just the other day, you know. African history is long before colonialism. But it's important for us to understand the contribution of 20th century and 19th century leaders, people like Frederick Douglass in the United States, people like Harriet Tubman. These people were very instrumental in challenging the status quo and showing them that black people, African people, had ability, intellectual ability, and what it takes to do things, to champion cause, to create something for our own, to write books, to teach, you know. And we cannot mention history without mentioning ancient Egypt and Ethiopia. These civilizations gave greatness to the world. The Greeks and Romans studied in ancient Egypt. Alexander the Great, Aristotle, the father of Greek philosophy, all these people studied in ancient Egypt. Pythagoras studied for 15 years in ancient Egypt. And these things are things that you can go and check. Go and read books like Stolen Legacy, Nile Valley Civilization. Go and read these books. The next thing why we study Black history is to confront colonialism, exploitation, racism, and discrimination. It is through the empowerment of ourselves collectively and the individual self with knowledge and education about the past and the injustices that took place, including colonialism, exploitation that has its roots in modern day capitalism. And I'm talking about industrial exploitation, you know, where the big boss, the owners of the means of production exploit the workers and exploit the society, the environment, just for their gain. And I, along with people who study Black history, feel that it is important to study Black history to empower ourselves to continuously confront these legacies of colonialism, exploitation, racism, and discrimination in our societies. In the diaspora, meaning African diaspora, places like Jamaica and the Caribbean, people like places like America, England, where Black people are in millions, we must study our history to confront, rather, the institutions and structures in these societies that continuously exploit and oppress our people. As I said before, the laws and rules and regulations of these countries and these societies were not made to empower us, they were made to disempower and to exploit us. So we must study the history of these things in order to confront them wherever they exist. And that is why it's important to study Black history. Next and final reason, which is really a part of my last 2 points, is the fact that studying Black history gives us confidence in self. I am of the view that many of the people that we have in our society who lacks motivation, lacks inspiration, they also lack um, just a strong sense of who they are. You know, these are the people who caught up in the Jamaican hype, you know, the American hype. A lot of them are not aware of their history. You know, these are the people who caught abusing drugs, abusing so much things in our society. Some people behave like them rich and them really poor. You know? People who bleach out themselves and they don't care. Or they give that impression like they don't care. Because I think everyone to some degree kind of care about themselves. You know? But sometimes a lot of persons are not in a position to really take charge of who they are and take charge of them life. And studying Black history, you know, gives you the impetus, the inspiration, the motivation to empower yourself and do what it takes to project the best self forward, because you realize that the society, it show you that you can't do this, you can't do that. But when you study Black history and realize that throughout history, we have been great in so many fields, not just entertainment and sport, which to a lot of modern day people, that's what Black people are sometimes relegated to, entertainment and sports. But we're way more than entertainers, musicians, and great sport people. We are intellectuals, we are scientists, we are inventors, we are business people, we are entrepreneurs, we are writers, we are peace loving people. Check the history for yourself. Stop the bleaching, stop the hating, stop killing off on one another and bad man and one another out there for some little simple thing. Vex to the people them out there more time, the way we deal with themselves. They need to know the history. And that we are dealing with. Why we are make a video like this. See? So, comment up and tell me some things where you want to hear about Black history. And, you know, we will do what we can to put forward more videos and specific aspects of Black history in the future. Because guess what, people? Black is amazing. Give thanks for tuning in. Until next time, respect and manners. I'm going to look some food and now and do some work. Respect.